Hi everyone, thanks for coming again. Welcome back to the Professional Development Workshop on improving student research skills for the junior paper. Seeing some new faces as well as a lot of returning ones. And to the people joining us on Zoom, we're happy to have you. Last session, we covered keyword searches and utilizing synonyms and related terms. This week, we'll be moving on to more advanced search strategies. As always, recordings of this session and all the others will be available on the website along with supplementary materials. Workshop 2, Boolean Operators and Search Strategies. Today's agenda. The objectives are to learn to use Boolean operators and, or, and not, and quotation marks to refine searches. Now, if any of you guys looked at the practice handout from last session, you might remember quotation marks. We introduced them a little bit. This week, we're going to get into it more. You're also going to learn how to construct effective search queries and put them to the test using the library database. Finally, you're going to improve the relevance and accuracy of your search results. Take a look on the right at the schedule. Right now, we're in the introduction to the workshop. Then we're going to move on to the recap of workshop 1. Then we're going to work on the limitations of keyword search, Boolean operators, and quotation marks. You're going to do a collaborative activity on keyword generation, kind of a repeat of last time. Then you're going to implement Boolean operators. You're going to construct an effective search query. This is a bit of a longer individual activity. And then finally, we're going to have a conclusion and additional question section. So let's get to it. First, we're going to have a quick recap of workshop 1. We're going to break down this topic into keywords, the effects of social media on the mental health of adolescents. You guys might remember that one. First, we'll remove unnecessary stop words as well as terms that are vague and non-descriptive, which leaves us with just social media, mental health, and adolescence. Finally, we're going to identify related terms and synonyms to widen the search net. For social media, we'll have social network, social platform, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, X, adolescents, teens, teenagers, you get it. Any questions? No? Then let's move on. You guys are all so smart. The limitation of keywords. Having a large amount of keywords does not automatically ensure an effective search or improve results. Bet you guys were feeling pretty confident after that recap. But here's some news. Even strong keywords can return too many results, too few results, or irrelevant results. This has to do with how databases, such as our library, process terms. Let's look at how keyword search processes multiple terms. Unlike search engines such as Google, most library databases rely heavily on keyword search. By default, these databases automatically collect multiple terms with AND. For example, if we just grab all of our keywords from before, social media, mental health, adolescence, and just put that into the search bar, it's going to interpret that as social and media and mental and health and adolescence. Notice how it's kind of splitting apart things that are meant to go together, and it's just searching for anything that contains all of the terms. So the result is only results containing all of these terms are returned. This can make results too narrow or miss relevant sources that use different wording. This becomes an even greater issue when related terms and synonyms are introduced, as only results containing all of the search terms are returned. So if you remember back at that long list of synonyms and related terms we came up with for our keywords, if we were to just copy and paste that all into the search bar, we wouldn't really get many results at all. So this is where we look at the introduction of Boolean operators. Boolean search operators define logical relationships between search terms. They allow users to control how keywords are combined, further refining search results. The three basic Boolean operators are AND, OR, and NOT. AND narrows search results by combining terms. For example, social media and mental health. Results must contain all of these terms. That's kind of what they do by default. OR broadens search results by including synonyms and related terms. Adolescents or teens or youth. Results will contain any of these terms. This is really useful if you're looking for synonyms related terms, since if you're looking for something that has to do with adolescence, you can combine all of your related terms with OR, and it'll return any results that contain any of the terms you're looking for, if that makes any sense. Not excludes unwanted search results. Jaguar, not car. For example, if you're looking for the animal, not the car, results will contain the term jaguar, but exclude the term car. These have their own uses and purposes, and you'll get more used to it as we go through more examples. So now let's look at utilizing quotation marks. Quotation marks are used to group words into exact phrases. They instruct the database to search for terms together and in order. Now let's look at an example that you might remember for the practice handout, to be or not to be. Let's say you're looking for this quote, you're looking for Hamlet, but you just can't remember what it's called, you can't remember who wrote it, but just remember the quote, to be or not to be. Since this phrase consists almost entirely of stop words, searching without quotation marks will likely return results that are too broad or irrelevant. For example, if you just type in to be or not to be, the results will return any source that contains all the terms in any context. So here, if we have an example, he went to the bar not to buy a drink, but to be anywhere else but home. That has nothing to do with Hamlet, but it'll come up anyway because you're using very common words in your search. One way to get around it is to use related terms. For example, like Shakespeare, or anything related to it, Hamlet, for example. But another way is to just use a quotation mark, to be or not to be, because now you're going to be searching for that exact phrase together and in order. Now let's put it all together. Let's take the topic, the effects of social media on the mental health of adolescents. First, we do what we did before. We extract the keywords, and then we generate synonyms related terms. We have this long list now. And now we're going to use quotation marks to group the terms in exact phrases as necessary. For example, we're looking for social media, not social and media, but social media. So we'll put that together in quotes. We'll put social network together, social platform. But Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, X, we don't need quotation marks for those. Same thing with adolescents, teens, teenagers, youth. We don't need quotes, but for middle school students, we're looking for that exact phrase in order. So we put that in quotation marks. Same thing with high school students. And you guys get the gist of it. Next, we're going to want to implement Boolean operators. Use and to narrow the search by combining terms, or to broaden the search by including synonyms and related terms, and not to exclude unwanted results. You can even use parentheses to group specific terms and operators together. For example, here we have parentheses for every term related to the keyword social media. So social media in quotation, because we want that together, or social network, or social platform, or Facebook, or Instagram, or Snapchat, or Twitter, or X. So we all have that in parentheses because those words all have to do it together. And we'll put and adolescents, or teens, or teenagers, or youth, or middle school, or high school. Put that all together in quotation marks, and then finally we'll connect it up with and mental health, or mental wellness, or mental well-being, etc., etc. We'll put that in quotes. We'll put that in parentheses, and then we'll add not MySpace. So basically what you're doing is the parentheses group the related terms together. You combine those with and in between because we're looking for sources that have social media and adolescence and mental health. We're looking for all three, so we put the together with and then we don't want things with MySpace, so we just add not MySpace. Might be a little confusing looking at it, but once we get into a little more practice, it'll make a lot more sense. So now it's your turn. We're going to repeat that same activity from last week where we go around the room and we all shout out one keyword or related term to the topic. Just a bit of review, so let's go around the room, take a few minutes. Wow, you guys are all geniuses. You're all incredibly intelligent. You guys were able to come up with keywords, gender equality in workplace. You guys removed the stop words. And then you guys found related terms, gender equality, gender equity, gender parity, equal pay, sexual equality. I would have never thought of any of those. Workplace, workforce, employment, office, job. I could have never thought of that either. You guys are so smart. Let's move on to the next one. Next topic is the effect of social media on political opinions. Take a second. Everyone we'll go around the room, just shout out a keyword or related term as soon as you can think of it, as fast as you can. Just anything that comes to your mind. Let's go. Wow, incredible. That was just exhilarating. You guys stunned me with your intelligence. And you guys found the keywords social media and political opinions. For social media, the related terms you came up with were social network, social platform, Facebook, Instagram. Those seem familiar, not very creative. But for political opinions, you guys came up with political views, political beliefs, and political ideology. Very smart, very nice. Let's move on to the next activity. This one will be a little bit more difficult, and it'll be an individual activity as well. So we're going to take these keywords and related terms that you guys just came up with, and we're going to use those to construct a search query. So how do we do that? We want to use Boolean operators. We want to use quotation marks, parentheses if you want, and we're basically just going to construct a search query using these keywords and related terms. Take a few minutes, write it down on a piece of paper, type it up if you want, and we'll come back together in a few minutes. Wow, look at this search query you guys came up with. This is just perfect. We got everything that needs to be an exact phrase in quotation marks, related terms to the keyword, all in parentheses, connected with or, because we want gender equality or gender equity or gender parity. And then finally, you have and workplace or workforce or employment. You guys are using these Boolean operators perfectly. Let's try it again one more time. Here, let's use the keywords you guys came up with before and take a few minutes. Amazing, you guys came up with another perfect search query. Again, you're using parentheses to group everything related to social media and then everything related to political opinions. You're using or between the individual terms because you're looking for anything that contains any of those terms. And then you connect and because you want to make sure you have social media and political opinions, not just social media or social or political opinions. So you guys did that perfectly. You guys are all very smart. To move on. This one will be a little more independent, constructing effective search queries. This will be an individual activity. Choose a junior paper topic of your own that you would expect to see in class. So maybe something that one of your students turned in a previous year, something that would interest you yourself. And I want you to identify core keywords, generate synonyms and related terms, use quotation marks to group exact phrases, and combine terms using and, or, and not if necessary. Finally, you're going to write down your final search query, and then you're going to put your search query to the test. You're going to go in the library database, and you're going to type it in. You're going to click search, and you're going to view the search results. All right, so we'll give you about 20 minutes for this one. Just take your time and really make sure you put together the perfect search query and see how it goes. Wow. I went around the room. I checked some of you guys, and you guys did a great job. Now it's time for a discussion and reflection. Break into groups of 3 and reflect on the following. Discuss amongst yourself. Did you find Boolean operators intuitive and easy to use? If not, what factors made them challenging or confusing? Did Boolean operators improve search results compared to simple keyword searches? Why or why not? And how can students be supported in understanding and applying these strategies? Really think about that, discuss, take another few minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and we'll come back together for the end. Wow, so what did we learn today? Strong keywords alone are not enough to guarantee effective searches. Boolean operators and or not help control and refine search results, and narrow search results, or broadens results, and not excludes unwanted terms. Quotation marks group words into exact phrases, and combining these strategies allows for more precise and relevant search results. Any questions? This will be the time to ask. Wow, those are some great questions. You guys are always bringing things to mind that I'd never even considered before. And thank you so much. For the next session, please select a junior paper topic of your choice. You may use a topic where you worked with today, a previously discussed topic, or a new topic of your choosing. You will be using this topic next session to model search strategies. So just maybe a topic that you're really interested in yourself. And as usual, I've come up with a practice handout for this session. You'll be able to practice what we covered today in more detail. And thank you all for coming today. You guys all did a great job. Thank you so much. Yes.